you know how people kind of say it happened so fast, but I kind of saw my life flash before my eyes. It was this weird juxtaposition of everything's happening so fast that I can't react, but it's happening so slow. Like, is my body broken? My legs are numb. Am I dead? Like, literally that thought went through my mind after everything, like the dust settled. I just was there, like laying there for a second thinking, am I still alive? Skiing has been something that, like, ever since I was 2 years old, my parents just stuck me between their feet, tied the front of my skis together, and just sent me down the hill until I fell over, and they picked me back up and kept me going. Back in 2017, my wife and I moved here over the summer. We both wanted to go to school, and that was a big influence on coming to Liberty because I knew there was a ski team.
It's been awesome to see him at Liberty and doing the ski team competitively now, and that's a way that he has been able to find a lot of his really close friendships here is through that ski team.
Jeff and I were so excited to be on the ski team together, and just, you know, skiing growing up and getting to do that during college was a crazy, fun idea.
In the summer of 2018, I brought my motorcycle back from South Dakota with me. I had driven motorcycles for 10 years before this, so I have a lot of experience. I get on my bike and I'm just driving down the road, and a taxi coming the opposite direction pulls in front of me and hits the front of my tire. As I was going towards the taxi, my mind was playing it out like, no way a car is pulling in front of me. Like, no way I'm about to get hit. No way I'm flying through the air. Oh my goodness. I flip over the car and like land on top of my head, and I'm tumbling forwards, I'm tumbling backwards, and then I end by smashing my head back. And in that moment, I didn't know if I'd walk again. I couldn't feel my legs.
Going back to that moment, I was just shaking and my heart was pounding so fast.
The only way that I can really describe it is just kind of feeling like numb at first.
Just being his sister, just so many things were running through my mind, just like, how is he? Because we didn't hear at all how he was or what his status was. It was just, he's been in a car accident and he's headed towards the hospital. So everything from like, how is his brain to was a couple days ago, the last time I was gonna see him. I didn't know.
The scariest moment for me was one of the firefighters pulled me aside and just said, at this point, he hasn't been able to feel his legs. His legs are still numb.
What was going through my mind pretty instantly after I realized, okay, I'm still alive, but what does that mean for ski team? And it might be hard for some people to be like, wow, that was like one of the first thoughts that you had, but ski team for me was such an amazing community and also such a great opportunity to have that be my mission field. There were all these things and these plans that I had that all of a sudden came to a screeching halt, and I just didn't know what that would look like. There was definitely a breath of fresh air when feeling came back into my legs. They didn't really know what was wrong, but there was a lot of pain. And it wasn't until later when I got some MRIs that they found multiple microfractures in my tibial plateau on my right knee, and then on the bottom of my tib and fib in my left leg. That meant I couldn't put weight on either leg. Life in a wheelchair was probably one of the craziest experiences I've ever had to go through.
It was definitely a very hard season and probably just the hardest semester that we've had. It was this huge transition of all of these tasks that he would always help me with, all of a sudden just got shifted to me.
We got married young so that we could go through hard times together, but we didn't expect like this. I mean, no one expects this to happen to them. One of the coolest things I'd say from this whole experience was how quickly I got to see the community of Liberty come around me.
We had seen that one of the biggest problems was getting from the car inside the house because of the steps.
I'd have to get out of my wheelchair and kind of crawl across my porch, hoist the wheelchair up onto the deck, and then come inside. The ski team came and they just showed up one Saturday and built me a ramp so that I could actually like wheel myself into my own house. And I don't feel like you see stuff like that very often. This was the first time in my life where I had these goals and now there was something that came between it. But I quickly saw that now I have this opportunity to work really hard to overcome something. And I didn't know how fast I would recover, but I even still had those goals of still being on the ski team. And I knew that the only way I could do that was if I put in the work and went to PT. At first, it was so hard, but every time I would go back, it was just more and more motivation to keep going because it became more and more of a reality of, wow, like I might be able to actually like ski again this year. When I went to the doctor, I didn't even want to ask them like, when can I ski again? Because I didn't want them to tell me like you're not going to ski for a while. Like I didn't want to like hear the news that you're not skiing again this year, you're not skiing ever again. Like I just didn't want to think about that, so I didn't ask. But I came for a follow-up visit beginning of November. So then I decided to ask, like, trying out for the ski team again, when do you think I can ski? In my mind, I'm thinking like maybe next year, I don't know. And he says, you can ski after Thanksgiving, which was 2 weeks away. So that was some incredible news. I think it was like end of November that the ski team roster came out. And that was kind of the big unknown. I knew that I could ski come post Thanksgiving, but I didn't know if I'd be on the ski team or not. But I was reading down the list, like my friends, Isaac Shepard, Andrew Garofalo, Chris Jablonski, Cole Loomis, Eli, and then at the bottom it says like Jeff Loftus, in parentheses, Lord willing. And just to see that was like, okay, now I have to do this. Like in my mind, it was already made up. Like I'm competing, I'm gonna be ready.
It's like, okay, you just started walking again. Like, awesome. I guess we're just gonna start skiing again too.
The first day he came back to practice, it was just like, yes, my brother is here, let's go.
So yeah, we went to our first competition and it was just a really, really good like moment where like it all came together. Like after all this hard work. I mean, it was just a first competition, but I actually got to be there. So that was pretty awesome.
Yes! Yes! That's my bro. Woo!
I think the biggest lesson that we learned was just no matter what our plans are, God can always have a different plan. And even if it is something like an accident that's really painful and scary and traumatic, there's still so much good that can come out of it.
Before I used to say like, yeah, I trust God and I rely on him. But I didn't realize until my accident that I really put my identity in my abilities. And now that I lost those, I really had to rely and trust on him. Like I used to hold life like this, but now I kind of just hold it with my palms open. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And that's okay. I definitely have goals for the future, but when stuff happens, it's not as devastating. It's all right. This is like the next obstacle. This is the next challenge. Like, how can we do this?